Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, June 5th, 2023, at 7:00, I guess probably 6 p.m. for our village board meeting. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will everyone please remain standing? This is for all the soldiers that fought for our country, fought for our freedom. Let them live in infamy, and God bless them all. Thank you very much. You want to sit down, please? We'll have a roll call of participants, please. Trustee Hagen?
Present.
Trustee Hogue?
Present.
Trustee Alpert?
Present.
And Mayor Curley, present. Our upcoming regular meeting is scheduled for Monday. Does that work for everyone? It's not the first Monday because July 3rd is a Monday right before July 4th, so I switched to the July 10th. Does that work for everyone here? Is that a July 4th weekend? Does that work, Frank?
Good. Sounds good.
Does that work for you, Angela?
Yeah.
Does it work for you, Steve?
Yep.
Okay, very good, okay. A regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Can I please have a motion for approval of the May 1st, 2023 Board of Trustee minutes, meeting minutes?
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Motion, Denis-Hogue.
Second made by Trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now I'd like to open up a public hearing for proposed acceptance of the annual New York State DEC MES report. Charles, can you please come up and tell us about that, please?
Good evening. The MS4 is the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, which is a U.S. EPA program regulated by the New York State DEC. An annual report is submitted to the New York State DEC each year. The MS4 stormwater program has 6 elements called minimum control measures, which result in reduction of pollutant discharge into water bodies. Those 6 elements are, number 1, public education and outreach. Number 2, public participation and involvement. 3, illicit discharge detection and elimination. 4, construction site stormwater runoff control. 5, post-construction stormwater management. 6, stormwater management for municipal operations. The Village of Suffern is a member of the Stormwater Consortium of Rockland County. The Stormwater Consortium has partnered with Cornell Cooperative Extension for education and outreach requirements, such as educational classes and radio programs discussing various public service announcement topics. The New York State DEC requires reconnaissance inspections of 20% of all outfalls. During their reporting period, 13 outfall reconnaissance inspections were completed, which is approximately 38% of the total number of outfalls. All inspected outfalls were non-suspect.
Thank you, Charles. So you did almost twice as many as you had to, correct?
Right, that's correct.
Very good, okay. Could I please have a motion to open up the public hearing, please?
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Motion, Denis-Hogue.
Second made by Denis-Hogue. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Anyone from the public have any comment on this, please? Being there's no comment, can I please have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Motion.
Motion made by Trustee Hagen. Can I get a second, please?
Second, trustee Alpert.
Second made by trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now at this point, I'd like to have we're going to have a public hearing, but I think I'm going to hold it over. It's a reference to proposed local law amending section 266-38 of zoning law of the Village of Suffern, respect to special parking requirements in the CB district. We didn't get a report back, a GML report back from the county yet. I don't think it's fair until we have everything back from it yet. So I think I can put that over to the July 10th meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, I have a motion to that public hearing until July 10th, please. Motion made by trustee Hagen. Can I get a second, please?
Motion.
Second made by trustee Denis-Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now I'd like the attorney, please.
Good evening. The PBA agreement, collective bargaining agreement, had expired about a year ago. The PBA and the village has come to a fair agreement between the parties, and what we have before us is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the memorandum of understanding, as well as the actual agreement once it's drafted by me.
I just want to talk about a little bit. I found the PBA to be very realistic, very fair, and very caring about this community. They understand that we are a smaller village, and I think that it's fair for the residents, it's fair for the PBA, and we also didn't have to go and hire outside different counsels, so the hundreds of thousands of dollars that was spent previously weren't spent either, so we can use that to pay other things in it, and I feel it's fair to everybody. So I'd like to, please, can I get a motion to approve the PBA memorandum of agreement dated May 17, 2023.
Motion.
And authorize you to sign and authorize you to sign the collective bargain.
And authorize me to sign a collective bargaining agreement, which we will then, Mr. Rice would also, in the last contract that was done, if I may point out, they never actually did a contract. They only had a memorandum agreement. They never put it together. It's like we're putting things that should have been done, but we're gonna fix it now and get it all in place there. So, based on that, can I get the resolution approving the PBA memorandum agreement dated May 17, 2003, and authorizing Mayor Curley to sign it?
Motion, trustee
Motion
Alpert.
made by trustee Alpert. Second, please.
Motion Denis-Hogue.
Second made by trustee Denis-Hogue. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
Intermission.
Yeah, the second thing is, and I see a typo in here, but there's a resolution here to approve an intermunicipal agreement with the county of Loughlin for $38,400 for the use of Hallett Place and other park and ride facilities, an additional $30,000 in capital funds for improvements of other communal lots in the village. I've reviewed the agreement, and it certainly is acceptable as to form.
This is a 2-year agreement. We actually got the county, after negotiating with them, to give us more than we've ever gotten on it. And I stand behind this agreement. And can I please have a motion authorizing Mayor Curley to exercise an intermunicipal agreement with the county of Rockland, please? Motion made by trustee Hagen. Second, please.
Second, trustee
Second
Alpert.
made by trustee Alpert. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and then lastly, many people may recall that approximately 21 years ago, the village entered into a payment in lieu of taxes agreement with Avon. It was a rather acrimonious time when Avon essentially said, you sign a payment in lieu of taxes agreement or we're moving to North Carolina. Avon, for many, many years, was a wonderful corporate citizen here, but at some point, they ceased to be so. But in any event, this agreement was signed. They paid a relatively small proportion of the real property taxes that they would have been responsible for anyway. The term of the agreement was 21 years. The agreement was going to expire. The Rockland County IDA terminated the agreement short of the end of the agreement. There are issues, factual issues, legal issues. We had a conference call with the director of the IDA and her attorney, which did not go well as far as getting rational responses from them. And so at this point in time, whether we actually do it or don't do it, and so that we don't have to call a special board meeting, and so that we can proceed in whatever is the best direction for the village, we have a resolution authorizing me to file a notice of claim and/or to institute litigation against the IDA and the various Avon corporations. Notice of claim is required for a tort claim. It doesn't seem to be required, and believe me, there is very little case law on points like this, but there seems to be very little case law as far as a breach of contract claim and requirements that a notice of claim be filed, but there clearly is for tort, so if we end up in litigation, we may not want to confine ourselves just to breach of contract claims. You know, there were a number of parties to this agreement, not only Avon Products, and the county IDA, but the various municipalities, and just on the face of it as a lawyer, how somebody can terminate an agreement between a few of the parties, but not all of the parties, escapes me. So this gives us the ability to figure out where we're going to go, and if we start litigation or file a notice of claim in the next month, when time may be an element here, we won't have to call a special board meeting.
If I may say, I led the charge on this. I actually discovered there was something wrong here. I worked with the people in the village, and it's my opinion that they discontinued it in the 19th year. Under the 19th year, they're supposed to give us what they call a clawback of 10%. The IDA, in our opinion, had an obligation to notify us under law that they were going to do this. Their contention, when I got on the phone with the attorney from a prestigious law firm in Westchester, but I feel I have a better attorney, Terry Rice, their opinion is that it was 20 years plus. But even in their own resolution, they said it was 19 years plus. So I'm actually leading the charge, and there's people in the county watching suffer now where we're going with this, because we were the one that caught it, right? As Terry said, we didn't have a pleasant conversation with them. I'd say it's fair to say I got my Irish up with them, because I like straight facts, I like straight talk, and I didn't accept it. So hopefully we want to do this so we preserve our rights, so we don't lose any money. Again, nobody else had discovered this until I did, and I actually got on the phone with the chairman of the Steve Porat, who I was disappointing in his actual knowledge of the whole situation. You can actually go online and watch the meeting of April 20th. I was very surprised at how they ran a meeting and how they came up with this. So I'm just fighting for the taxpayers of Suffern. I'm actually fighting for the school district, for their school books for the kids. I feel I'm fighting for the town residents, which we also pay town tax, and I'm fighting for the county. If we're wrong, there's no foul, no damage to us. But I feel we're right, and I'm gonna go on for it so the taxpayers are burdened enough. A company like Avon has been here for many years. They got a great tax deal from us years ago, and I feel that they're going to leave now with anywhere from $40 to $50 million. I think we should get our share when they leave. Okay? I think, as you know, the property's for sale. I feel they may have a buyer. I don't have enough facts for it, okay? And so I don't want to put it out there. But if you go online, you'll see it's under contract. So I did a little more investigating myself, and I called up the realty company. And I got the realtor on the phone. He says, oh, no, we just put that up there. So, someone who's talking with them can negotiate fairer. So I think sometimes you do things better with court than you do with people telling you their sides of the story. We have a lot of expenses in this village. We have a lot of roads to be fixed. We have a lot of things to buy. We have a lot of, firemen to take care of, residents to take care of, and now I'm going to fight for our money. So I'm sorry to give you that long. I just want to understand where my position came from and how it started. It started with me making a phone call to the IDA. I asked them for an emergency meeting of the IDA. We haven't received it yet, but I have talked with the town of Ramapo. And they are waiting on my lead here. And so could I please have a motion authorizing the village attorney to file a notice of claim and or institute litigation against the Rockland County Industrial Development Agency, Avon Capital Corporation, and Avon Products, Inc. I please have a motion, please.
Motion.
Motion made by trustee Alpert, seconded by trustee Hagen. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Grant program, Fred Rella, please. Mr. Show Me the Money, Fred Rella.
Good evening, Board. I want to talk a little bit about West Maple Avenue. That's a project which Charles has been working on diligently, which we received a couple grants totaling $300,000. And he'll be having a resolution before you later tonight to award that project to a certain contractor. But that's to do the sidewalks, curbs, and driveway aprons on West Maple Avenue, both sides. The grant was $300,000, but the good news is it looks like we're actually going to be coming in below the $300,000, around the $280,000 mark with contingencies and the like, so that's really good news. The project would potentially begin at the end of June and would take about a month to complete with the punch list and whatnot that have to be gone through. So that's good news. At the last meeting, we were talking about the New York State budget a little bit and how they finally passed it. So they passed it, and so I called up Senator Weber and Assemblyman Probanik, who represent us here within their jurisdiction, because once the budget passes, then money is allocated to the varying elected officials who can then trickle it down to the municipalities if you apply for the money, and they determine how it is awarded. So the New York State Senate is going to hand it off to the Assembly on Wednesday, then the Assembly's in session until Friday evening, okay? And we'll know at that particular point in time how much is given to each one of those individuals. The thing to keep in mind here is that they're in the minority parties, such that the funding and the amount of money that they'll be getting may not be as much as if they were in the majority party. We received word from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York that the grant of $235,000 for the municipal building boiler, the grant disbursement agreement has been fully executed. The mayor signed it, the state signed it, and we can now begin that project. The total estimated cost of that project is $325,000. So Charles and Michael will be doing the appropriate bidding and bonds that get in place and getting that project to move along. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that the mayor, Mike Genito, and Charles and I were working on some environmental facility corp grants and low-interest financing on a couple of projects. One of them is automatic meter reading, and the other is for generators, one at the wells, this backup generator, and the other one is up in Bon Air to help pump water through the distribution system. So that's for low-interest financing and grant funding. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we want to make it, right now, if Bon Air goes out, we have to bring like a portable generator up there. We want to secure it so it's a system that goes right in and there's no interruption in the service up there, and their water stays good and clean, and so that's what we're working on up there in Bon Air, huh?
Right, correct.
All right, anything else, Fred?
That's it.
Okay, next time, bring me more money next time. All right? Thank you, Fred. Thank you very much, Fred. Mr. Rella. Okay, Charles, Department of... did I forget you, the fire chief? Yeah, where are you? We forgot you? You want to go? Come on up, fire chief. You're in a rush there. You're always in a rush there. You got to go to a fire. All right, we'll get you out of here.
Good evening. If you don't mind, I'd like to do item C first, and then we can do item B second, if that's okay. So item C, we're asking permission to attend the 171st Port Jervis Annual Inspection Parade on Saturday, July, and I believe I had a typo in my memo to the village clerk. I believe it's Saturday, July 8th. I think the 9th is a Sunday.
I think you said July 9th.
Yeah, I did, I know.
Oh.
Yeah, it was my error.
So it's the 8th or 9th? What do you know?
It's the 8th.
It's the 8th?
Saturday is
Okay,
the 8th.
so we'll amend that, okay? Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the Suffern Fire Department to attend the 171st Port Jervis Annual Inspection Parade on July 8, 2023? Motion made by trustee Hagen, second please.
Second.
Second made by trustee Alpert, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Jeremy,
Now,
can I go with you?
Sure.
Okay. I want to get the fire truck.
I just want you to win, that's all. Just come back with a trophy.
We usually do win up there.
Come back with a trophy and don't buy one and say I won, okay? Jeremy? Okay, go ahead, sir. What else you got, sir?
The second item on the agenda is authorizing Penflex, who is our LoSAP administrator, to conduct an actuarial study to assess the cost of amending the service award program with respect to certain increases in the monthly award and changes in the method of service of credits. Now, I'm sure there's a ton of questions on this, so I brought my expert, Mr. McInerney, if he would mind coming up, and he could probably answer all the questions you may have.
Can I ask you something, Mr. McInerney? Good evening, board.
Good evening. The famous Dan McInerney from the trains. I guess, you have a question, Frank?
I just wanted, is this more beneficial to you guys, this study? Is it?
Right now, what we're asking is for a cost estimate study to be done, outlining like increasing it from 30 years to 35 years maximum, or increasing the number of the amount of money that goes into the program. The first part now is to ask permission to have the study done. The fire department will pay for the cost to have the study done, and it just needs to be a letter sent by the board to the Penflex to have them have authorization to go ahead and do the study, the actuarial study.
Thank you. As long as it helps you.
So what it is technically, if I can simplify it, okay? It's like a retirement. Penflex is like a retirement plan for the firefighters, okay? And we don't have paid firefighters here, and we're lucky to have volunteer firefighters. And every day, they're harder and harder to get in this county. So their service by me is very much honored and respected. So what they're asking to do, at their cost, they're gonna go ahead, and I think it's $500, and that's Penflex to say, okay, what would it cost if you increased our retirement? Then at that point, that would be brought back to us, and we'd make a choice if this board, if we could afford to do it or not. So they've asked for different things there, and it's not uncommon. I mean, and I don't want to say this in front of them, so if they hold their ears, I like this. You even have local fire departments, like not too far away, that are actually paying for calls that go out. So, I mean, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to look at this, I want to keep our fire department, I want to keep our volunteers, and I want our volunteers to know that we're behind them, huh? And that's where, and I think, Mr. Alpert, that's a fair statement? Yeah, sure. You know, and I think that's a fair statement for all of us, okay? So, just don't let it be a relative doing the study, it comes back with the wrong numbers, okay? Thank you very much, guys. All right, sir, can I please have a motion? Thank you, Dan. To authorize Penflex to conduct an actuary study to assess the cost of amending the service award program, please? Motion, please? Motion made by trustee Alpert, second made by trustee Hagen. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
I like your dress code. Very fancy. Very modern, okay? Okay, very good, sir. Police Department, please.
Good evening, Board. In the month of May, the Police Department responded to 939 calls for service. I just wanted to briefly update the Board on a collaboration between our department and the Rockland County Sheriff's Department. As the Board is aware, during the late spring, summer months when the weather gets warmer, our volume of calls for service in the Police Department increases dramatically. In addition to that, we see a large influx in the downtown area of more and more people coming in to frequent the bars and restaurants and establishments, which is, obviously good for the village. So after speaking with Mayor Curley and Sheriff Falco about this, the Rockland County Sheriff's Department has agreed to deploy its mounted unit, which I'm sure you're aware are police officers on horseback, to our downtown areas on select weekends throughout this time of year. The mounted unit was actually present in Suffern this past weekend. They were in our downtown area, down at the ball fields, at the Little League games, and we received extremely positive feedback from the residents. The officers and the horses were able to, interact with people. People got a chance to, see them, pet them, and it's besides the additional police presence, it's a great community policing initiative. So I would like to publicly thank the mayor and the board for supporting this initiative, and as well as Sheriff Falco for making this unit available to our residents.
Thank you. You let Sheriff Falco know they can come down as often as they like, all right? We welcome here.
Will do.
We welcome the horses, and even if the officers can't come, send the horses
Just send the horses.
The kids will love it.
I have three items on the agenda for the board's consideration tonight. The first is a request for the board to nominate Mr. Michael Levito as a full-time police officer to fill a currently vacant position. This nomination will allow the Rockland County Department of Personnel to clear Mr. Levito for permanent appointment. Mr. Levito is currently a police officer with 5 years' experience in the city of White Plains and Westchester County. Prior to his service with White Plains PD, he was a correctional officer in the Rockland County Jail for approximately 9 years. He's a lifelong Rockland County resident, and we feel with his prior law enforcement experience that he'll be an asset to the department and to the village of Suffern.
Thank you, Chief. We're filling positions that are because of retirement, one guy resigning and one guy retiring. We are not adding to the police department. We are actually putting them at the manpower that they should be at, okay? So I want everyone to understand what we're doing here. So can I please be it resolved, can I please have a resolution nominating Michael Levito as a probationary police officer in the village of Suffern?
Motion.
Motion made by trustee Denis-Hogue, and second, please?
Second.
Second by trustee Alpert. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The second item is a request for the board to nominate Mr. Christopher Schutz to full-time police officer to fill what is also a currently vacant position. Same procedure. This will allow personnel to clear him for appointment as a probationary police officer. Mr. Schutz is currently a police officer with the City of New Rochelle Police Department of Westchester County. Prior to that, he served with the NYPD. He has approximately 3.5 years of total police experience. He's also a lifelong Rockland County resident, and that we also feel that his prior police experience will be an asset to the department and the village.
Thank you, Chief. Can I please, and again, this goes the same thing for this office. He's filling a vacant position that's in the budget, replacing someone who, either the one that retired or resigned. Can I have a resolution nominating Christopher Schutz as a probationary police officer in the village of Suffern, please?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Motion made, trustee Alpert. Motion made by trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please? Second. Second by trustee Hagen. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. The last item I have on the agenda tonight is a request for the board to authorize myself to attend the New York State Association of Chiefs of Police Annual Training Conference, which will be held at the Desmond Crown Plaza Hotel in Albany, New York, from July 16th to the 19th. I've attended this conference in the past and found that it provides excellent training, networking, in many different areas of law enforcement. Lodging for the conference will be necessary for 3 nights at the hotel at a discounted group rate of $159 per night. I do have those funds available in my training budget.
Thank you, Chief. Can I get a motion approving police chief to attend the New York City Chief Conference, please? Motion made by trustee Hagen, second please.
Denis-Hogue.
Second made by trustee Denis-Hogue. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Thank you, chief. Kathleen. Ms. Mills.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Village Board. So a few things that we have. The calendar was delivered this last week. If you haven't received a calendar, let us know. We have copies. It was very, very well received. We're thrilled that it's out there. It's going to show all the activities that we have coming up for the year. Yoga in the Park started this evening. It's going to be at 6:30 on Mondays. It will be tonight, the 12th and the 26th. We're not doing the 19th because of Juneteenth, but over at the park on Mondays at 6:30. The fishing derby is this Saturday. Registration is at 9:30. The fishing will be from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and there'll be a barbecue following at the Elks after the fishing derby. So we're excited for this. It's also well received. We've got a lot of calls on it, so we're looking forward to the derby this weekend. Pool registration is beginning. The first one is next Wednesday, June 14th, and we're running it from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to give people an opportunity before work, after school. So it will be upstairs in the community room. The pool opens on Saturday, June 24th. The pool will be open on weekends from 11 to 8, and during the weekdays, 12 to 8. So the board, you're all invited to opening day at 10 a.m. if you're available to come over to the pool and meet and greet the lifeguards that will be there for the season. Swim lessons is going to be beginning on June 25th, which is a Monday, and June 26th, which is I think I have that right. The 26th and 27th, Monday and Tuesday, Monday day, and Tuesday night. Clifford Theater is beginning right away. It's going to be on July 5th is the first practice here in Village Hall, and then the performances will be on Friday, July 28th, and Saturday, July 29th. We have a kickball game. We had one last year. It was a lot of fun. It's going to be over at Court and Fields on July 7th. If anyone's interested in participating, feel free. The first family day at the pool will be on Saturday, July 15th, and that is starts at noon till 3 o'clock activities. It's always a great day. The lifeguards are getting ready for a family day. They're excited. And then concerts in the park are going to be every Thursday in July. And I think that's it for now.
Okay, very good. Any barbecues coming up, Kathleen?
If you'd like somebody else to cook this weekend on Saturday at the Elks, they'll be cooking for us this time.
Listen, don't take the Elks. They're proud of what they do. They're a very prideful organization.
Yes.
I'm not going to interfere with their pride. So please don't interfere with the Elks. Okay, very good. I have to say, I thought Memorial Day went excellent.
It was a beautiful day.
I was proud of the police department, the fire department, the DPW, the recreation, everyone, it was a very good moment for the village, a solemn one, but a community one. And I think to keep growing and growing, and I was very proud to be the mayor at that point. Huh?
It was a beautiful day, Mayor.
Proud. So, all right, Cathy, thank you very much, Ms. Mills.
Thank you, everybody.
I'd like to make a motion now to open up the public comment period. A motion, please. Motion made by trustee Hagen. Can I get a second, please?
Second, trustee Alpert.
Second made by trustee Alpert. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. At this point, if anyone has any comments, please come up.
Two quick things. I'm glad to see that Avon is finally getting their due. I fought against that. Terry's probably the only one who remembers it. You were the attorney at that point with Galinsky, if I remember correctly. And the second thing is I was very proud of the crowd on Memorial Day. It was a terrific turnout, and pretty much we do that every year, but it's still nice to see, and I love seeing the young people there, because that's the only way they're going to learn the history of this country. My question is, Charles, have you made a list of the roads that you are going to be paving this year?
I have not finalized that list as of yet.
Okay, I would like to request Memorial Drive, which hasn't been paved since Terry wrote a letter 12 years ago to the county when they did the sewer work. Since that date, I have Little Lake Antrim, which runs right across the front of my house, which destroyed my railroad tied walls. And, you know, it's got to be 12 years or more. So I would like to see that puddle, and there's puddles all the way down going towards the pool. When they did it, instead of cresting it, it all went towards the landowner's property. I would have thought you might as well put it in the river, because if it rains that hard, it's going to flood anyway. So you got nothing to lose. But that's what I would like to request. Other than that, there's really nothing here. I'm going to be interested to see what the parking change is going to be. I know the mayor and I spoke about it like 2 weeks after he got elected. Hopefully that's the plan he's looking to put into play. And do you have any ideas of using this parking lot back here also? Moving people from there?
Okay, what's happened, Jim, is that I
can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I apologize. What's happened is we have an agreement on that parking lot back there. I've used that parking lot. We now, whereas prior to this year, we received $70 per spot. We now are receiving $200 per spot. What happened previous is that if you lived in the village of, you lived in Suffern, and you worked in Mahwah, Ramsey, or New York City, and you used one of our lots to go to work, you paid $200. If you lived in Mahwah or Ramsey or New York City, and you came up because you worked around here, you paid $70. A resident was paying more than a non-resident. I fixed that this year. We now, and I did not use those numbers in my budget to Mr. Genito, to use in the budget. Those are future things that'll be coming. A person was paying 26.9 cents, not counting weekends and holidays. I've now raised the number to $200. They are paying 76.9 cents per spot. To make it simpler, 77 cents, okay? I think this was totally unfair. Also, prior, when I took over, shortly after me taking over, letters were sent out to people. I didn't catch it till after the fact. There was so much to take in this village. But I actually went and looked at the parking authority, and I figured out our weaknesses and our faults. They were actually renting out the white spots down by the post office. They were letting them go there with all-day permits. They were overselling the lots. There was no spots for customers. I have changed that now. I have taken some of whichever companies, let's call it, and I've said to them, I can't give you this many spots. I can only give you this many spots, and the other spots are going to have to come from the F lot down by the ball field. So we now have spots for residents that never ever existed, which also caused a backlog on the streets of Suffern. The actual, on overtime parking was a $20 fee. It now has been raised to a $40 fee, because some people are saying, I don't care, I'll just pay the $20. If you don't have the movement, you don't have a village. You need spots to move. So I've broken down that plan, and besides getting more, I don't think the woman who's 85 years old, living up in Bon Air or Stonegate or any other community, who can't afford her medicine, should be paying for those parking spots when people are paying 26. And I remember talking with this early, and Mr. Hagen early, and when I became mayor. Well, I fixed it now, okay? I fixed it with here, and I'm fixing it there.
I agreed with you then, and I agree with you now on that situation. It was totally...
Well, whatever, it was oversight, whatever we want
And
to
I'm
call
glad
it.
you explained it to them, because you and I had thrashed this out, like I said, a long time ago.
But that's it, we're in a different position now with that. I'm not done working on that yet, I'm still going to work on that more, and I'm glad we agree.
Well, we did then, and I do now.
And I want to say something else, Ms. Giantino. I see you at many events this village has. I see you as a caring, loyal resident. You do come to so many things. And I see that. And as I've been there, I see you there too. And as you come to these meetings, and you have your opinions and your rights, and you fight for what you believe in. And I think that's democracy, and that's what we need. And I thank you for that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, please?
Please let me know if I made the list.
Okay, Patsy Wooters. I have two comments. I just want to say I did attend the ceremony on Memorial Day.
Can you speak up a little bit closer to the mic?
Okay, I did attend the Memorial Day ceremony. It was excellent, and I'm an expert. I was in the band 7 through 12, marched in my wool uniform on Memorial Day for 6 times. I want to just let you know, I've been very impressed with the company Brookfield that's redeveloping the Novartis site, and I've been in correspondence with Justin Drysdale, who's their point person. And his last comment to me was, we will review and look to incorporate additional sustainability measures for the project. And I can't be more thrilled. What I asked of him was that for paved surfaces, they would use materials that had a high solar reflective index. It's pavement which generates a lot of the heat. And I have 2 examples from the village. It was a summer day, and I had been hiking up near Tirati Circle. The temperature in my car when we came back to the car was 72 degrees. When we got back to our house, which is right over here, the temperature in Suffern was 87 degrees. That's the heat island effect. Last week when it was hot, the second day, I was driving on Lafayette Avenue, and I was listening to the radio, NPR, and they said it's 85 degrees, so that would have been Central Park. The car thermometer read 97 degrees. So I'm hoping that we can do some of the measures to reduce that heat island effect. The other point I wanted to make was, I've been asked about what the work that's being done on the wells, and I don't have the letter that you sent out, so I couldn't answer the question. So I wonder if it'd be possible for you to just give an update, perhaps on Facebook, so that people can know what's going on with the water treatment. Thank you.
Thank you, Patsy. The well project's still going on. We anticipate it to finish closer to the end of June, okay? We've actually, as you know, the last meeting, we had voted to clean the grills on the side, so we actually are doing a more extensive job while we have the motor off, so it doesn't damage the motor, So we are doing the project, we want to do the project correctly, that we're here, and that's where we're at. But I'll put an update on it all, and I thank you, Patsy. Any more comments?
I know you do a lot of work, and I appreciate it. I don't know what's in my water, and this morning, it was again rust. Yesterday, it looked like rust. That's an issue that's affecting me, and I would like to know why it looks like that, and if it can be used for bathing, brushing teeth, everything else.
Okay, Just so I can point out, about a week and a half ago, you had called up, was it, or 2 weeks ago, on a Sunday. You texted me about 8 o'clock in the morning. I then got in touch with the water department, and Stan, our chief water operator, we went over to your house. And yes, I agree, your house, when we saw it, there was a tint of brown in your water, which you explained to me later. It's been going on for a while, for months. It wasn't just since this project. So there's definitely something going on with your house. And
is it my house only?
So far, yes.
Oh.
So far, yes. But you told me you've had it for weeks. So it was before our project started, on and off for a long time. So as I recall, we actually went to your kitchen sink, and your kitchen sink was fine, but your bathroom was off color. It was.
Is it only my house or only me complaining?
It's only, so far, only you.
Only my house?
Oh, yes, but you did have a problem. I agree with you 100%. There was a situation, but as we ran the water, it came out less, correct?
There was a lot of water this morning I had to run. I had to even be late for going to work.
I'm not sure. Sometimes it has to do with whether you have, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert here, okay? But sometimes it has to do with what piping you have, what different factors. But yes, it's, so far, you're the only house we had to go to so far. I'm not saying no one else couldn't have had, I'm not trying to claim no one else couldn't have had it, you know, but as you explained to me, you've had this for a while, and so this is before our actual project now.
The past couple of months, and I don't know what it is.
Right, you're right. You've had it the past couple of months. We only started this project on the 15th of June, you know what I mean? So you've had it for a while. So what I can do is I'm going to ask the water department to maybe go back out to your house and maybe take another look to see if we can help discover this, okay? What's causing it, whether it's your different piping or not your different piping, because we care about everybody here, huh?
Thank you.
Okay? Charles, could you do that for me? Could you make sure? Can you do me a favor, Charles? Can you give her your office number before she leaves, so she can call up the office directly, and you can set up an appointment, and we'll go out and we'll see what we can do. I need to send the experts there.
You came yourself, so I was very impressed.
No, I came myself, and I heard with the chief plant operator, the guy who knows the most about water in this village, okay? And I, as I stand here, you did have a tint on it when we came, not in the kitchen, your kitchen sink was fine, but in your bathroom, definitely, huh? So, but if we can help you in some way, that's, you know, if it's we'd love to assist you, okay?
So while I'm here, let me just say that you know that I was asked to run and to be the mayor.
Okay.
Okay, so.
I can't wait till you're the mayor. I need a break. It's a lot of work.
Well, I mean, you must have a lot of time to be able to go knocking on doors, but I got a chance to experience that, and I heard a lot of issues that people are concerned about. And I don't know if you've had other board meetings that those have been discussed, because I don't get to every board meeting.
Right.
But I think at some point it would be nice to know if those issues are outlined and if they've been discussed, if I can review those. To see if I...
You can always, you can send me an email, you can come to the office, anything. I have a true open door policy. If anyone knows me, knows my door is open every day I'm there, and anyone just comes in.
And I've been there.
Right, you come in the open door, so I have a complete, but I will let you know that this village and all these employees constantly have requests, have either FOIL requests, or can you do this or that problem, street, they want, matter of fact, we're going to be street, someone said Wayne Avenue, they wanted the street sweeper there. I already called up Mr. Hunter, he's going to be first thing in the morning. We're always planting trees. We were there Sunday, trees fell down on Park and Maple. I was out there, Mr. Hunt was there too. So every day I'm answering emails and taking care of residents. There are concerns every single day. Probably when I leave here, from the time I came to this meeting to the time I go back to my office after this meeting, I'll have an email with a request of something for me to do.
And that's the responsibility and job that I took on and this board took on. And we do it.
I
all right?
understand.
And we're proud to do it, all right? And any concerns you have, you come, and if we can address them, if we can get them done, we will get them done, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
You say so.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I used up my 4 minutes.
Jim, you could have more anyway. I would never stop you, okay? You've earned that in this village.
We have a business on Wayne Avenue with a lot of cars in a parking lot that do not belong there. They were notified back in July. You don't realize where it is, Terry? You're looking confused.
I'm not hearing you well, that's what the problem.
Can you get closer to the microphone, Jim?
Yeah.
He's almost 40 now. His hearing's a little bit off.
49.
He wishes he was almost 40. Listen, it's across from Suffern Sales, next to the old firehouse.
I can answer it, Jim. Right now, that business is, Rob Magrino, our other attorney, is handling that, and right now, they're in court. He's supposed to be having a trial, if I'm not mistaken, later this month, okay? I spoke with him recently about it, so we're not letting it go. We don't agree that you can't just have a use, you can't, when it's not used for it. You gotta go through the process, you have to have permits. You can't go against state fire codes, you can't go, so...
You're talking to the choir in here. You know I know this.
But I don't think it's an imminent danger, so it's going through the process, and Mr. Magrino, the attorney, who is our planning board, and which you know him well, he actually is taking them to trial.
Okay, I wasn't aware that action was happening. I wouldn't have asked the question.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, because it's going on 11 months.
Listen, I don't... The court system doesn't always go the way I'd like it.
No, it doesn't go the way any of us like it, except Terry, because he's an attorney.
But it's in play, so, we're on it, and we thank you for reminding of us, but we're definitely on it, Mr. Genito.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you, sir. Huh? I'd like to have a motion now to close the public comment period, please. Motion made by trustee Hagen, second, please.
Denis-Hogue.
Second made by trustee Denis-Hogue. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Mr. Sawicki, please. Okay, we don't do this. What about this one? Charles, go ahead, please. I'm sorry, I apologize, Charles.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Mayor, I have items B through F that are application for payments. How would you like me to proceed?
Just talk about them first, and I'm going to do a consent agenda on B through F, sir.
Okay.
Go do those first.
So item B, requesting authorization for payment application number 20 for Pingarrow & Deutsch Consulting Engineers, PC, for the Gosher Hardening of Water Treatment Plant project in the amount of $5,008.32. Item C, requesting authorization for payment application number 21 for Pingarrow & Deutsch Consulting Engineers, PC, for the Gosher Hardening of Water Treatment Plant in the amount of, I think there's an error here. No, that's probably correct. I'm sorry. It's 20 and 21. I was thinking the other project. I apologize. Let me start from the beginning. Requesting authorization for payment application number 21 for Pingarrow & Deutsch Consulting Engineers, PC, for the Gosher Hardening of Water Treatment Plant project in the amount of $3,338.88. Item D, requesting authorization for payment application number 11 for Meal Electric Company for the Gosher Hardening of Water Treatment Plant project in the amount of $59,565. Item E, requesting authorization for payment application number 10 for Dewberry Engineers for the Gosher backup power for a critical facilities project in the amount of $3,127.65. Item F, requesting authorization for payment application number 10 for Dewberry Engineers for the Gosher hardening of water treatment plant project in the amount of $2,739.15.
Can I please have a motion authorizing the payments for items 9B through 9F, please? Motion? Motion made by trustee Hagen. Second, please?
Second.
Second made by trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item G, requesting authorization to award the right-of-way improvements West Maple Avenue project to D.S. Meyer in the amount of $226,180.
Right. Now with that bidding, they came in a lot lower than anyone else. But Charles didn't just accept that bid. They went and did their due diligence to make sure that company could actually do it for the job. What we found with that company is that they actually did prior to what the prices would have been bid at prior COVID. So they're not trying to, they're a qualified company, at the same time, they're not trying to grab the funds, grab the money because of COVID. So I kind of respect that. So we'll just have to stay on them, make sure to do the job right. So can I please have a resolution accepting the bid for the right-of-way improvement West Maple Avenue project, please?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Motion made by trustee Alpert. Second, please.
Trustee Denis.
Second made by trustee Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That's over in your neighborhood, Frank, there, okay? West Maple Avenue. Okay, Charles, did we do the MS4? Did we do a motion on that yet, the MS4?
No.
Oh,
No. Okay, let's go ahead and do that now, okay?
I apologize.
That's okay, no, we went through it.
I'm
but-
sorry.
I don't know if we did it. It doesn't hurt to do it again. I don't think we did it, yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll just do it. I get a motion accepting the annual New York State DEC MS4 report, please. Motion made by trustee Hagen. Can I get a second, please?
Second, trustee.
Second made by trustee Alpert. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Charles.
Thank you.
Mr. Genito, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. We have one quick resolution for the Board, and that is to surplus an old desktop computer and 2 old laptop computers, no longer functional. And as usual, we remove the hard drives and either repurpose them for the village or destroy them.
I'm surprised you just didn't give them to me, Mr. Genito. I never get anything new. So, anyway, can I get a motion declaring certain computer equipment as surplus, please?
Motion, trustee.
Motion made by trustee Alpert. Second, please.
Hagen.
Second made by trustee Hagen. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion now to go into executive session for a legal matter, please.
Litigation.
For litigation, please. Motion, please. Motion made by trustee Denis-Hogue. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Second made by trustee, I think Hagen said it first, I apologize. Trustee Hagen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We're going to executive session now, and we may take a vote when we come back out, okay? Reference to litigation. Shouldn't be long, 5 minutes, and we'll be back, all right? 7 minutes, I'm sorry, I said that one time, and someone held me to it. Let's have a motion to go out of executive session, please.
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Motion made by trustee Alpert, second, please.
Second.
Second made by trustee Hagen, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have a couple things. First, I want to I'm hiring, as this board did, this board approved hiring another code enforcement fire inspector. At this moment, I'd like to have a motion to appoint Jordan Tannenbaum as a local firefighter who actually lives in a village. We're adding another code enforcer to our village. He was recommended by people inside the village. I've met with him, the building inspector met with him, so we're going to hire him as another part-time code enforcer. So can I please have a motion appointing Jordan Tannenbaum as code enforcer part-time effective June 12th, 2023? Motion, please.
You're pointing and asking for a confirmation.
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
You're pointing and asking.
I'm pointing and ask for a confirmation.
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Albert. Second, please.
Motion, Denis-Hogue.
Second made by Denis-Hogue. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes. Now we have a different matter, which I'm going to turn over more to our attorney here for a moment, all right? Mr. Rice, can you explain what we're doing here?
Yeah, we just met in executive session. Danina's Restaurant, as well as the owner of the adjoining parking lot, has been operating basically a restaurant in the area. There is a tent and structure were erected there. They are not allowed under the zoning law because there's been no approvals for them. And more concerning is the fact that the tent, the way it's constructed, and the electrical and the slats, as well as the structure that was erected right next to it and attached to it, violate many provisions of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, the fire code in particular. I met with the fire inspector and code enforcement officer today, as well as speaking to them over the weekend, and it's a situation which, in all good conscience, the village cannot allow to continue because it is a potential fire hazard. From no exit signs to inadequate exits to a tent that was never inspected, which may or may not be compliant as far as the standards for tents, because there are strict standards so that they're not a danger of being combustible, to heaters that are hanging from the ceiling. There's a whole litany of items that the fire inspector is very concerned with. The village has tried to work with them, but at this point in time, after having closed for some period of time, the weather being nice, now they opened up again, the village is really left with no alternative but to seek injunctive relief in state Supreme Court to try and stop this, because again, the fire inspector believes very strongly that there's a safety threat there.
Okay, over time while I've been mayor here, we've had other people who have had tents in their driveways, tents, different things, and we've actually had them take those tents down. Suffern has a law for tents that includes what they call an event tent for 14 days. I've attempted I've sat down with the people at Denina. I've attempted to assist them, and soon after I did, they hit me with a letter saying they have a lawyer, don't talk to them. Okay? So I really can't negotiate with them if I wanted to. They went to the planning board for one meeting at some point and never went back. Anyone that has chairs and tables in this village now has applied for a permit and then approved based on that. The fire inspector and code enforcer have actually gone there, explained to him what he needs to do, and for some reason this Friday he chose to open up and just defy all local codes, state codes, fire codes, building codes. And I'm a believer that I have to treat everyone the same. Approximately 2 months ago, a gentleman was looking at the old HSBC bank building next to Dunkin' Donuts, and he said he wanted to buy it. He said he had a restaurant over there in the Muncie Spring Valley area, and he wanted to do a kosher catering / restaurant. The building inside that bank is only so big, even though you have all the space. He asked me if he could put a tent up front on that property. I said, no, you can't. He said, well, he saw a tent up at the monastery, and maybe he said at the church also at the time, not at the same time. And I said, well, those tents are what they call event tents. I said, I know that the monastery, I knew they had a circus. I know that at some point, well, since I've been there, and they came and got their permit, and, you know, the fire inspection, all these different things. So I said, you can't do it. He then said to me, but you have a restaurant down the street with a tent. I said, well, that tent is not legal, and we're not going to allow that tent to stay. So I represented to someone, and he probably didn't buy a property based on the fact I told him what existed in this village now. So I can't treat one person one way and one person a different way, or else we're going to have a lot of liability here, okay? And even that, if the fire inspector and the code enforcer and the building inspector tells me it's dangerous, I trust their expertise. And they're all telling me it's dangerous. And based on that is why we went this direction. If Denina chooses to take that tent/structure down, and he brings me a certificate insurance, I promise you within 15 minutes, I will ask the clerk to go through his application, get the building department, go down there, and get him open, okay? If you go right now and look on our village website, you'll see a couple of restaurants there. You'll see what it looks like just with the tables and chairs, okay? 2 restaurants during at some point, the end of COVID, received restaurants from the county, separate from all these other federal grants. Denita's got a check for $23,000 for chairs, tables, umbrellas, not to build a structure, okay? They put receipts in for it. And Diddy's also got a grant of approximately $10,000 to $12,000. Those were the 2 that I'm aware of, any knowledge that got grants, okay? So you know, it's like, we want everyone to do well in this village, but I would rather lose votes than lose lives. So we're going to go ahead with this and bring it to a court, and where whatever a judge decides, that's where a judge decides, okay? But I have my building department who's behind this, who wrote it up, and they feel they have an obligation to protect the residents and the non-residents that go there who just don't know about it. Thank you. So at this time, I think I'd like to have a resolution authorizing our attorney, Mr. Rice, to go ahead and I guess, file the litigation necessary so we can correct this situation. Can I please have a motion, please?
Motion, Trustee Alpert.
Motion made by Trustee Alpert. Can I get a second, please?
Denis-Hogue.
Motion, second by Denis-Hogue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. At this point, do any of the trustees have any comments on anything?
There was just one thing, the issue from Saturday night, is that still being worked on?
Can I get the police chief up, if you don't mind? Yeah,
I looked at it, I'm sorry.
No, oh, good. Chief, you want to come up, please?
Yeah, you're talking about the incident that occurred at the train station, correct? Yes, it's still under investigation. There are several leads. I don't know if you saw, we posted some information on our social media today just to make the public aware that, you know, we don't believe that there's any threat whatsoever to the public. The only reason that's basically the reason we put the post out. This was something between 2 people that knew each other. At least 2 of the parties had taken the train to Suffern and gotten off the train. So it was just an incident between 2 subjects that knew each other. There's no, you know, we don't believe that there's any threat whatsoever to the public. It is under investigation. They have some good leads, and I do, you know, expect it to be closed within the next couple days.
I got a lot of phone calls myself personally, which is why I was...
No, listen, Frank, listen.
Not fear.
And just so the board is aware, I mean, I I had some discussions with the mayor with it today. You know, we want to be as transparent as possible. We want to put as much information out as possible, but sometimes, you know, when things are under investigation, there's only so much information we can put out, because as we're putting it out to the public, we're also possibly putting it out to the suspect. So we do have to be somewhat cautious about what we put out, but you know, they are on top of it, and I expect it to be closed within the next couple of days.
Right. I guess it's fair to say, and I'm not saying there was a criminal here, but criminals also read Facebook. So I think that's the simplest way to say it. So, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Is anyone else there? Okay. Can I please have a motion, please, to close the meeting, please? Motion made by trustee Hagen, second, please?
Second, trustee
Second by
Alpert.
trustee Alvin. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's ended. Everyone have a wonderful day. Stay safe.